Conversation here on Lagos television, and on this side we'll turn our focus to a sector brimming with untapped opportunities, and that is the tourism sector. We are focusing on Lagos tourism potential, from its vibrant culture, rich heritage, food, beaches and entertainment hubs, as well as the creative economy. Lagos stands as a potential global tourism powerhouse. But again, the question remains, and this is one question that we've been asking on this platform: how well are we harnessing these opportunities? Well, joining us to give answers to these questions and much more is a beautiful lady who is here with us. She is Honorable Iyabode Rafat Ojora. She is a Deputy Majority Leader, Lagos State Youth Parliament at Jeremy Ifelodun Constituency 1. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. I said something about tourism being an untapped sector. So beyond entertainment, beyond leisure, when we talk about tourism, when it has to do with Lagos, what comes to your mind?
Okay, so I would like to state that Lagos is one of the vibrant cities across Africa, and Lagos is well known for its entertainment, business and tourism platform. It also attracts local people and foreigners into the country. And how has it attracted all these people? When we talk about our beach, when we talk about our arts and culture, when we talk about the beach, let me go to the beach. When you talk about the Oniru beach, the Elegushi beach, the popular beach we know, these are places that when you go, you can go there for leisure. It's a place that you can go there to have your own time. It's a place you can go to have your own moment. When you think about Lagos, how is harnessing all these opportunities? Lagos is harnessing all these opportunities through all these tourist places. When you talk about the tourist centers we can talk about the Badagry Museum, the first story building in 1845, that Lagos is using all these places to drag attentions into the community, into the states. Thank you. So when we also talk about the nature aspect of it, you look at the Lekki Conservative Center, which is about 78 acres, and it's the longest Africa canopy nature that we have in the state. So Lagos is harnessing all these things, and you see what Lagos State government under the leadership of the governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu is doing to ensure that all these places are taken care of. When you look at all these places, the way they are being taken care of, so all these things drag tourists, people from local and within into our states.
Okay, with all you have said, it's obvious that Lagos is performing concerning tourism, but some people are of the opinion that it is not fully maximized, and there are some factors hindering Lagos tourism potential from maximizing. Can you highlight some of these factors for us?
Okay, so when we want to talk about the hindrances that can say, okay, these are things that can hinder people from internationals from coming into our state. So we can talk about the security aspect of it. When we want to talk about the security aspect of it, you can see that the vision of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can see what he's doing in the security reform. The way he's trying to ensure that all local governments are also, even my local government, I'm the special advisor to the chairman of Ifelodun LCDA, Mayor Dr. Olufemi Akanbi-Akori, and recently we are one of the local government LCDAs that have its own security patrols. We have a security that has been put in place, a community-based security patrol that works for the security. And when you go to different states, you are seeing that there are state-based police officers everywhere. So security is no longer an issue, and the states are already looking forward into all these things. And another thing that we can say about Lagos that we know is the traffic congestion. And when you look at the traffic congestion, you can see, even looking at the back of this thing, I can see the railway. Yeah, you can see the railway that is like an easy access to where you are going. So you can also see what the president is doing with the Lagos Calabar Road. If you're coming from other states, coming into Lagos is now like a freeway, not like the congested areas that we know. When we even talk about the security aspect of it, we now have hotels that are easily accessible. You see the way they are always guided and all. And when we now even talk about, we can bring it down to the infrastructural development of the state. We can see a lot of infrastructural development. The roads are not usually bad as it used to be. So even in my local government, you can see the work of Honorable Lukman Saad Olumo, the House Committee Chairman. What he's doing is the House of Assembly member representing Ajif O1, Ajomi Ifelodun. You can see what he's doing in terms of infrastructure. So when they see that, okay, the road is not bad, everywhere is good, there's security. Because even me as a person, if I want to go somewhere, I look at it, what is my safety? How sure am I that I'm going to be safe there? So when the environment is safe, there's no traffic congestion. I see no issue why international tourists will not want to come. And when we look at E1 that happened recently in December, you could see the amount of international tourists that we had. I think when I was online, I saw that Nigeria recorded around 18,625 international travelers into Lagos State.
That's for that particular event?
No, for December.
30 December.
Yeah, for December. And when you go there, I don't know if you are at the E1 event, you could see a lot of people that were at that event and not people that were based in Lagos State. That's to tell you what Lagos is doing. And it's how it has convinced people to come into Lagos State for their events and program. And it's also a way forward for the Ministry of Tourism under the leadership of Honorable Commissioner Mr. Benson.
Okay.
But I want to write on these numbers or figures she gave earlier. Lagos truly maximizing its potential. There are indicators. You have mentioned that only about 18,273 international tourists visited Lagos in 2025 for 30 December and all whatnot, but they said compared with, cities like Cape Town or Dubai receiving millions annually, Nigeria's tourism contributes about just 2%.
Okay,
so
Nigeria.
Far. That's the whole of Nigeria, not to talk of
Lagos.
Just Lagos. And I'm still talking about Lagos not maximizing, its full potential when it comes to tourism. I had this conversation with a guest here on Monday, and we're talking about, Lagos has an advantage over other states. We have the water. Now, why are we not making taking full advantage of what we have? I mentioned something like a water city beyond the E1. Why can't we have like a floating cinema or a fisherman's hub or something, to show that, look, Lagos is truly having or taking advantage of its waterways.
Okay, so like what you said, that E1, if you could see, it's like a boat racing competition thing. It's also part of Lagos maximizing their potentials using what they are. Because on waterways, when you look at Lagos State is in the southwestern region and is on the Atlantic Ocean side of the world. It's not as if Lagos is not maximizing it. We're maximizing it because if you look at it, I said earlier that Lagos State is one of the vibrant cities we have in Nigeria. And when you look at the art market, art global market space online, you see that Lagos State is one of the top 7 that people that is being recommended to people to come and look at their art. It's not as if Lagos State is not maximizing those things.
But more can be done.
But more can be done by the government. Yeah, because even when you talk about Lagos State and Nigeria as whole, we have the Afrobeats, the African Fela Shine. Yeah, right there in Ikeja that people come to see. So we have a lot of places. We have the first story building in Nigeria that people want to see. The National Museum, the Lufasa Nature Park, the what's it called, Lekki Conservative Centers. So all these things, it's not as if Nigerians are not making good use of it. They are even using all these opportunities that we have. They are even using it for the economic gains. So it's just that more can be done. And I think that the government is already putting in more effort into this because out of my research, I noticed that the Ministry of Tourism is working towards taking all these tourists that when tourists come, all these people that come and tell them stories, they are trying to like take them on a training outside the country to like equip them to meet
like
international
the tour guides.
Yeah, the tour guides training to equip them to meet the international standard of other countries. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you said Lagos is trying, but
Yes.
more can be done. So let's now focus on the trying part, and let's look at the creative economy. This is a time where we have content creation. You have music artists doing well in the entertainment space. Nollywood, of course, not to forget Nollywood as well. They are doing well in the entertainment space, and and they are putting Nigeria forward out there. I'd like you to talk about how this has evolved and how this has also contributed to boosting the tourism sector.
Okay, so there's no way we want to talk about Nigeria that will not talk about the great work of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, because he was the one that pioneered Afrobeat and all these things. And when you look at Afrobeat, it's like a music genre that people are into very much. So Fela Anikulapo has even given this Nigeria its own trademark of their kind of music, and even his shrine here that people come to check what is in for them. People come for rehearsal. And when you talk about the Nollywood is really doing a great job in the creative sector, because promoting our culture, because when you watch most of Nollywood, promoting our culture, promoting our food, all these things they do, they put into actions. They're trying to boost our economy, because I could see Funke Akindele movie. Okay, if you see I think behind the scene, our latest movie.
Adverts, you pay. Marketing will wait for you outside on your
No. I'm not. I'm just trying to use as an example. So there behind the scene, you could see the way she went to, I think, is it Canada or UK to advertise it, and the way people really turned up is also boosting our culture. It's boosting the creative aspect. Is even people outside the country are still in support of. Okay, yeah, we know we're still thriving, but we're still supporting each other outside the four walls of Lagos State. Okay,
I like the fact that you used a popular actress and the way she markets our movie. So let's look at Lagos State in that light. How much of branding and of course marketing, is Lagos doing in selling the state to tourists?
Okay, so like I said, Lagos is doing a whole lot. Lagos is doing a whole lot under the leadership of the Honorable Commissioner of Ms. Toke Benson and the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Bokpo Oyekon Ismail. They are doing a whole lot. Like when you talk about the National Museum, you see that it's already in place for renovation. There's one around Costain side, you see it's already in place for renovation. When you talk about the J-Randu events, J-Randu is to promote Yoruba culture itself. When you go into J-Randu, you see a lot of things about Yoruba culture, the Eyo, the Fantika, you see a lot of things. But so
I want to cut in with all of this you said. Is it enough to promote Lagos globally?
Yeah, it's enough to promote Lagos globally. Because if we, I feel like culture and tourism works together. It's the when you enhance your culture, when you promote your culture, it's the culture of the people. That's what the tourists are coming to look at. It's the culture, it's the tradition. That's what tourists are. That's what motivates them to say, okay, let me come and see what they're doing. What is in this place? So renovating all this place, working on them, developing them, they are trying to promote Lagos on a large scale tourist environment. Even with what is it called, the Nike Arts Gallery. Recently I saw that they do a showcase on the side of the road.
You're mentioning brands.
No, it's not about mentioning brands. These are things that we have in Nigeria. It's not about mentioning brands.
You're not supposed to mention brands on there because it's like you're advertising for this places. Yes.
Okay, so these are things. I just have to say things that Lagos State has in place.
Don't mention the name. You can say, like the art gallery. Like the art gallery.
Okay, art gallery. Yeah. These are things that when even people that do not come for tourists come by and see, they'll be like, oh, what are they doing there? these are things that can catch, even me as a person, these are things that can catch my attraction and say, oh, okay, I would like to visit, I would like to know more about this, and let me put it in my next plan.
Okay, let's talk about food and fashion now.
Okay.
How well do you think we are also harnessing this sector to push the business of tourism?
Okay, we're pushing the business of tourism. It's not, it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task, but we're pushing the business of tourism because when we have more tourists come in, the rate at which the economy will go, it's going to also contribute into the economy. So I would say we're doing our best as tourist people to, because there's greater, I don't want to mention, you said we should not mention things that legal citizens, but there's no
we're not saying you should not mention. Don't mention
private brands.
Okay.
brands.
Okay, so when we look at like the Greater Lagos Festival, so when we get to see, when we advertise things like that as Lagos State government, and people get to see, oh, this is what they are doing, and people are coming from, do you know that from that angle, Lagos State is also making limelight. Even the fancy carnival that was recently done by the Ministry of Tourism. So when all these things are being done, I feel like there's a growth in our economy.
For the Fanti Carnival, me, I always talk about what you have mentioned. For the Fanti Carnival, which you mentioned just now, it is, it's like it has its origin from the Brazilian
Yes.
quarters in Lagos Island. When that particular festival was going on, I always tell you what people are saying. People were like, we don't have the real story of, there should be something, there should be like a trail of thought. There should be like a background story, not just people coming out in costumes. Is this how they dress in Brazil? Do they all go out in costumes every day? That, the way that they could have packaged it, should have been better than just people coming out in, I'm just talking about, that I like the fact that you mentioned the Fanti Carnival, which has its origin from the Brazilian quarters. That, look, still talking about branding and selling what Lagos has, that some people are saying, look, that is not enough. Okay, it's fine to come out in beautiful costumes, but what is the background story, surrounding that? Of course, there were some activities, before that, but a lot of people did not get the awareness, and still boils down to packaging and marketing of Lagos products. That's made in Lagos, which was what we talked about here on Monday. So, as a youth parliament leader, what is the role of youth, in promoting tourism? Don't tell me about music, Afrobeat. Don't tell me about Afrobeat. Don't tell me about music. What other things? How can the youth now get more involved, in selling Lagos?
Okay, so under the leadership of Right Honorable Shoniwe Goitinolu Maria, the Speaker of Lagos State Youth Parliament, the first female Speaker of Lagos State Youth Parliament.
I think she was here recently.
Yes, my Speaker was here recently. Yeah, my Speaker. So we have been doing a lot. We also have an House Committee for Arts, Culture and Tourism. I happen to be a member, and the Vice Chairman of that committee did a program under the leadership of the Speaker recently to promote culture. Because how I usually say culture and tourism works together. That's what people, is the culture, is the tradition of the people, is the history of the people that people are coming to hear. That's what majorly comes together that we call tourism. It's not when there's no tour without a reason. You need to know why you're going on that tour. If it's okay, you want to explore. If it's you want to know about something, there must surely be a reason. And majorly, from the facts that we've gathered, we know that people want to know more about the culture, the history, the tradition. So there was recently a cultural debate among young students through the office of the person representing Mushi constituency 02. Yes, Honorable Aisha. She did this cultural thing to promote the culture of Yoruba people. Everything that was said during the debate was in Yoruba language. The attire of the day was in Yoruba language. So these are things that the Lagos State Youth Parliament is putting in place to set the culture of Lagos State on a standard that, and when you even our own city, we set aside days that we wear Yoruba native attire. Even in the Lagos State House of Assembly, it's also the same. They set outside a day that they speak the native language to boost the cultural aspect of it. So at least people can say, okay, why are they doing like this? Let's also behave like this for these people to enrich their culture, for these people to take their culture this unique, for these people to understand that their culture is very, very important, even though we have the English that we use. So these are things that tourist people can say, so okay, let's come and learn from them. So these are things that Youth Parliament is, we are policy makers, and I know that we have raised a couple number of policies on these issues, but I know that with time implementation is going to take place.
Okay, some of the tourism, as you have questions, some of the tourism or tourist attractions or festivals or cultural events we have in Lagos seem to be like for the elite, people in the urban parts of Lagos. How can we now integrate people in the local communities into the tourism value chain?
Okay, so I really don't think that the cultural aspect, the festivals are for the urbans. Why? The reason is because the elite people also. The reason is because there's no way you can tell. Let's be factual. There's no way you can tell someone that drives a Benz and say, okay, come and put on Sangbeto attire. Is it possible? Sangbeto is a popular festival, a popular masquerade in the Badagry division. There's no way. So making all these people do these things is a way of getting them also involved in all these things. When you see the Lagos Fancy Carnival that just did, it is the local people that was because you see that you see Idumagbo Street, Idumagbo area, you see different household come out. It's not about, you cannot say in an household that I am from, that you not tell me that it's only the elite that is constitutional. Maybe I don't even know if it's not even constitutional that should do this thing. Even in the Eyo aspect of it, when we talk about Eyo, I'm a Lagosian, I'm from the Ojora family. You cannot say, okay, those that are the elites, the Eyo is only for those that are the elites, the Okpa is for those that are elites. Everybody in Lagos, I feel like Lagos is carrying everybody along, both the elites, both the less privileged. Lagos is carrying everybody along in the tourist and event planning of a thing.
So in the area of tourism today, if if you're given the opportunity, to do something, a quick change, what are the top 3 things you quickly change in the area of tourism here in Lagos State?
Okay, that's a good question. But as for me, I will think of trying to improve on the coastal, the Atlantic Ocean highways, the coastal ways, because majorly when you go through some of the waterways, even along I don't want to mention them, but then I feel like environmental sanitation is a key in all these sea aspect parts of Lagos State. I will ensure that all those areas are properly looked into. And another thing that I would think is that Lagos is a very, very beautiful city. It's a vibrant city. It's a city that has its own dynamic setting. I will ensure that we have more monuments describing what particular areas are for. Like what my chairman is doing, there's a monument that he's trying to come up with, that is trying to showcase that, okay, this is the reason why this community that Ifelodun LCDA is, this is the reason why it's like that. So these are things that I feel like I'm going to do if I'm opportune to get there.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Iyabode Rafat Ojora, Deputy Majority Leader, Lagos State Youth Parliament, Ajeromi Ifelodun 1. And we've been talking about Lagos tourism potential. Lagos is not lacking in potential. It is not. It is overflowing with it. We just need to pay attention and, you know, improve upon what we have. Thank you once again. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues.